My friend, I would encourage you again to get a copy of my book, The Blossoming of Christianity. You know, there's no doubt in my heart that eventually you will get around to getting a copy, because I am totally confident of the revelation that I received from God that set me out on the mission of writing this book. And I have God's word in here showing how you can interpret the scripture from the viewpoint of science. And I'm totally confident of the revelation that revealed to me that we have got to learn to interpret the scripture from the viewpoint of science. And so I'm confident that you will get a copy. If you can't afford a hard copy, inbox me and I will make sure that you get an electronic copy that you can play on your computer. Okay, so when you interpret the scripture from the viewpoint of science, we saw that Jesus was not with God in the beginning. You see, we put this in a little perspective. See, God told Abraham, He said, Abraham, I will be a father unto you and unto your seeds in their generation. You see, we have to look at that. So you see, God was telling Abraham, I will be a father unto you. That means that Abraham was God's son. I'm going to be a father unto you. That simply means that Abraham was God's son. And then he told Abraham, and I'll be a father unto your seed. In other words, I'll be the father and they'll be the son. In their generation. See, there's only one God and one seed. But the seed can appear in different generations. You see, that's what we got to understand. You can get this type of information when you learn to interpret the scripture from the viewpoint of science. You see. So you see, Jesus appeared as the son in that generation 2,000 years ago. But the force of reason that came into the development of the universe right along with positive and negative charges. You see, when you interpret scripture from the viewpoint of science, you see that those positive and negative charges maintain a supreme position because everything is made up from those positive and negative charges, and they were the only force. See, supreme, only, every, those are supreme. See, nothing past that. That gave the positive and negative charges the qualification to serve as God the Father. And the force of reason, all things is made because of a reason. We know that. There's a reason behind everything that's made. Nothing's made without a reason. All things was made by a reason. So you see, all, that's a superlative, that's supreme. Nothing that's supreme is made without a reason. So to see, the force of reason can serve as a supreme power. Which, when you interpret the scripture from the viewpoint of science, it's the Son of God. So you see, this is Son of God that is appearing in that generation, dealing with positive and negative charges. And they made the body, see. Everything that made up, that your human bodies are made up from, emerged out of those positive and negative charges being arranged, spoken, you know, the word, by the force of reason, which represents the Son of God. So you see, then you begin to get, when you interpret scripture from the viewpoint of science, you begin to get meaningful information. And you see that Jesus was a seed, but it showed up 2,000 years ago, but the force of reason was also a seed. And the force of, this is an important distinction because you got to understand that the force of reason still remains to be God's Son, the Spirit of God Himself. And that Spirit will be, it's already there. We just got to recognize it in our conscious mind. The same force of reason that was the reason behind, you know, everything that made the flesh. The same force of reason that came into the beginning of the universe and existed as one with positive and negative charges. You see, it's now in our conscious mind because we know that there's a reason behind every decision that we make. So you see, that force of reason is walking with us. When we accept that force of reason as the Spirit of God, then we can begin to see God from a different perspective, you see. People think God is, which He is grand and all throughout the universe. But God, as He's going to appear and bring about His kingdom of heaven, is going to appear as a small force within us, reason. And see, that force of reason, when we begin to negotiate the laws that give rise to the kingdom of heaven, it's going to be a reason that we do that. You see, the force of reason is right there with us. So Jesus was the Son of God in that generation. And he became the Son of God because he accepted the idea that all things are made by God. His reasoning is the reason that he accepted that idea, you see. So that the force of reason helped him, as the Son of God, was assisting Jesus in becoming a Son of God, as a first fruit of the sons of God that would be joining as one with God, which we must do when we accept the idea that God made all things, like Jesus did. Then we become one with God. And then we become sons of God and bring about, in union with God, bringing about His kingdom of heaven on the planet earth, which is just a social order. So we'll talk a little bit more of that. You see, when you interpret the scripture from the viewpoint of science, you begin to get meaningful information. And this information, we haven't gotten into the heart of it yet. But I'm telling you, people could be on the wrong track, thinking they're going to have treasures in heaven, and you wake up and find that you haven't done any of the work that's necessary to get those treasures. That would be a shame. So you really need to hurry and get a copy of this book, one way or the other. If you inbox me, I will send you an electronic copy that you can read on your computer. We'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow.